Thank you for tuning into the Malliard Report. Before the fastest hour in paranormal talk radio begins, go over to italkparanormal.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter.
The opinions expressed on the Malliard Report are those of the host and participants and are not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any simulcasting radio network or sponsor. All listeners are advised to make their own decisions.
It's the Malliard Report, yeah, the Malliard Report, the paranormal talk radio show with Jim Malliard as your host. See what lies beneath any paranormal activity. Go inside a world that others don't want to see. It's the Malliard Report, yeah, the Malliard Report.
Due to technical issues, we joined the podcast already mid-recording. I guess I don't know what happened, but here we go.
Able to constantly tell you and give you guidance as to the next thing to do in your life so that you know you're not just randomly out there and being a victim? Wouldn't you like that? Well, yeah. That's why we stay in it, because we get that inner guidance. And we teach others how to do it, too.
Well, I want to officially welcome you to the show since I kind of just swatted up and pointed a question. You're Vincent Genna, right? Is that how you say your last name?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
I wanted to assume that, but we all know what that does. That's kind of dangerous, so.
No, I know. Well, thank you for saying it. I mean, taking that risk, it's okay. I've been called 1,000,001 things before, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So you're a psychic, right? That's what the business card says. Besides, I got a whole list of things here you do, but.
Right, I'm a psychic medium.
I was doing some research on you, and this kept coming up in your bio, that you were on Grease.
I was in the movie Grease. I was a singer and dancer in the movie Grease. Yes, I was. Back in years ago. And so the movie is almost antique, which means so am I. Anything older than 40 years is antique, so that movie is going on 35 years old, 34 years old. Yeah, no, 35 years old. It's 35 now. It's going on 36 years old. I did that movie when I was 22 years old, yes. Fabulous experience.
That's remarkable. Like I said, that just kept popping up over and over again, so I knew that I had to ask you about it because that's where it was. So what do you take away from that? Obviously, your life went a different direction.
Interesting. I was a professional actor for 35 years. It's not that my life went in a completely different direction, because I use now all my experience as a performer, as an actor, because what do? We get up on a stage, we get in front of a camera, and we grasp onto the hearts of the people watching. And then, as an actor, you manipulate the heart. You make them laugh, you make them cry, you make them ponder and think, you make them feel empowered, you make them feel scared, right? You're controlling their emotions. So what I do now is I still grab their hearts with that ability that I have, and I feed them the message I need to feed them about themselves so that they can start pursuing their lives and achieving their dreams and believing in themselves. So I use all of those skills. So it was an easy transition for me. I consider myself a one-man show now. And I incorporate music and strong, wonderful PowerPoints, and I even sing in my lectures when I travel around the country, because you can inspire and empower people in so many different ways. And that's what I use my past for. So it goes hand in hand. And in hindsight, I see why I went through what I went through when I was younger in order to be the teacher that I am today. I hope that explains it.
It's got to make it a lot easier to travel being a one-man team or a one-man show.
Yes, it is, and I don't have that many instruments and things that I have to carry with me. So yes, I try to put the orchestra in one little box and in my PowerPoint.
That's good though. At least you can. Okay. Anyways, we'll stay away from the PowerPoint presentations. We'll keep it upbeat and happy and better. So.
Oh, the PowerPoint presentation. My PowerPoints are really powerful and very enjoyable.
I'm sure they are.
They're not those boring ones that you sit in the management classes, and they have a list of 100 items up there that you got to follow one at a time. Oh no, God! Oh my gosh, no, no.
So, the next little thing, I just kind of threw some words on a sheet of paper because I didn't want it to be too structured tonight because I knew that we'd probably spin off into something that isn't even on my sheet. So the next word I have wrote down is you're an author, too.
Yes, I am. I'm currently writing my major book called God, It's Not Working, which is about how everybody in life is really trying to pursue some type of growth, improvement, achievement, right? So they attend all these classes, they read all these self-help books, they go to these spiritual workshops and conferences and retreats for weekends, right? They go out of country to see some of the most famous spiritual and self-help people. They go to one of Tony Robbins' classes, and they come home trying all the stuff and still end up saying, God, it's not working. And I built not only the book, but all my workshops on that and why. So the book is about why and how to make it all work. And right now, I've been authoring so many different pieces of that book as articles for various publications online and also in hard copy. So it's been fabulous. It's my work actually. There is one organization that has a printed article of mine that has gone out to over 22 million people. And now my work has gone to 183 different countries. So I feel really blessed with all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing when you start getting your voice heard around the world. What that does.
It's validated that I must be saying something right. You know, that's important to me. When I went into this business as a spiritual teacher and a helper and healer, the arrangement I made with God and Spirit was, let me do this work for as long as I'm helping people. But if any way that I'm messing it up or pulling them off the path, then stop me because I don't want to hurt anybody. And so far, I must be doing the right thing because the word of people like you are contacting me and wanting me to be on their radio shows. So I feel really blessed with that. I really do. That, it's very important to me.
And my guest today is Vincent Genna, and it's the Malliard Report, in case anybody's jumping in or missed part of it, because, I don't know, cause I floundered around asking some questions to myself, and people might have jumped away for a minute because they didn't want to listen to me talk to myself, which is okay. I didn't want to listen to myself talk to myself either, which is
Well, you're very entertaining. I've got to tell you that. I'm enjoying it.
Well, thank you, sir. So you started out as a spiritualist coach. Where did the interest in that even come from? Because that seems like a whole something that you just don't say, wake up one morning and say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
No, what happened to me, I got to tell you, be honest, is I was the guy who was tormented through his entire youth by the kids in school until I was 17 years old. And then once I got home, I had parents who beat the crap out of me. And then I also had a relative who sexually abused me until I was 13 years old. And then let's throw in that the parish priest, when trying to take care of my mother, also sexually abused me. So I'm the one who went through all of that. But what happened when I was 28 years old, I befriended the guy in school who caused most of my antagonism. He antagonized and aroused everybody to pick on me. And at my 10-year high school reunion, I had just finished the movie Grease, and it was just released and, became this overnight sensation. So when I went back to the reunion, everybody was all over me because I was in that movie. Well, he approached me with great open arms and now acceptance, and he became a really good friend of mine. And it wasn't like I was a star of that movie that I could get anybody anything, but kids grow up and they realize that they did torment me, and so we became dear friends. Well, I noticed that his life was falling apart, but he was hiding it. Nobody else knew, but in my heart, something I knew was going wrong, but I couldn't help him. He wasn't opening up. I didn't have the tools to help him. And so it was after visiting him for a weekend, my wife and I are driving home, and I'm in tears, literal tears, because I felt his pain. I mean, when you're tormented all your life, you know what pain is, right? So I knew the pain this guy was feeling. I knew he was feeling like garbage, but I didn't know what to say and do. So I actually cried out to God, and asking God to help me, give me a way to help him. Give me a way to help people like him because I can't stand the pain that he's in. Within weeks of that request, amazing paranormal things began to happen with me over a 3-month period. And I'm talking, it was a Steven Spielberg, Cecil B. DeMille movie, all right, with swirling light, ghosts appearing to me, psychics speaking, trances speaking, people from the other side speaking, me reading minds and knowing things that were going on, my brain being flooded with ancient wisdom that I had no previous knowledge of, and my wife being Jewish and me being Roman Catholic, she didn't know whether to call the local rabbi, to call the local priest, to have me exorcise or lock me up. But luckily, she went along with me and realized something is going on over here. So no, I didn't wake up saying I'm going to be a spiritual teacher, but I also didn't wake up thinking that I was going to be psychic either. I thought I was going to be a movie star. That's what I wanted. I wanted an Academy Award. I wanted to be in movies. I wanted to be like Brad Pitt, even though I didn't look like him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen your website. I don't quite see that comparison. No.
Oh, thanks a lot, buddy. You can tell me at least that I'm looking close, maybe not like
remember, there's a reason I do a radio show. Just I can tell you that right now.
I know, really. You're too honest. No, I don't look like Brad Pitt. But what happened at that point, everything started to go on in my life that was completely unusual, and I started also being directed to people that were helping me and guiding me and letting me know what was going on, because I had never heard of a spiritual awakening. I never knew any of that stuff. So I was turned on to the right material of the right places, and I realized if this was happening, that my life was about ready to change, and it did, and I had to accept what was happening. I didn't fight it. I was actually pretty honored by it, that I was given these gifts or that they awakened within me, however they came to me. And that's when I said that I have to follow that. People were telling me that it was happening because I was meant to become a spiritual teacher. And I was even introduced to a group of people one day. I was invited over to this meeting, this evolvement and expansion and self-help meeting, comprised of all these different professionals. And the host actually introduced me as a spiritual teacher who is going to come into notoriety after a certain period of time with my message. And it was just blowing me away. I thought I was on drugs, even though I never took them. It really was. It was a whole crazy thing that was going on. And so I had to accept the journey, and I had to accept the role. And when I did, everything fell into place from that point on. So no, it wasn't overnight, and I didn't wake up doing it, but it was spontaneous.
So what would be your advice? I mean, obviously nobody walks in your exact shoes, but somebody that is starting to feel the interest or desire, or I don't even know the right word to put towards it, but in becoming more spiritual, just even more spiritually based, let alone being a spiritual teacher. What would your advice be for that?
Advice? Well, to let you know, because of the shifting consciousness, you know all that garbage about the Mayan calendar last year, December 21st? Okay, it wasn't garbage. It was a misinterpretation. Everybody thought that, and putting out there that the Mayans said and the calendar said that life was ending. No, they didn't. They said a consciousness was ending. And what we transitioned into is a new understanding. We need in this world today to recognize that we're more than flesh and bones and blood. We need to recognize our spiritualness, because it's the only way we're going to heal this world. What caused it to get screwed up to start with is the physical. in forgetting who we are as spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. So there's an awakening that's naturally happening. And so what you're calling is an interest. You're right. It's more than an interest. It's an inspiration. People are starting to become inspired to learn more about themselves, to tap into. There's a knowing coming up because we were all created with the same understanding, okay, with the same knowing, with the same strengths and abilities, but we just forgot all of that while we were here. That's rumbling inside of us. So for anybody who is feeling that urge, and it could start out as an urge of they want to leave their jobs. They know their jobs aren't fulfilling anymore, and they're getting this urge to leave. They're getting this urge to start a new relationship or to move from where they are. They're getting an urge to pursue a passion. I want to write a book. You know what? I put my art aside when I was younger so that I could make money, and all of a sudden I'm getting an interest to draw again. Oh, all of a sudden my childhood is resurfacing and all these issues that I really want to resolve and get out of the way. That's all surfacing. I don't understand. They need to go with it. So advice number one, trust your inner voice and what's coming up. Do not talk yourself out of it. Your right brain is your intuitive side, your nurturing side, your emotional side, and your creative side, which is also characterized and named your divine feminine, your feminine side. The masculine side or the left brain is your intellect, your reasoning, your logic, your courage and strength. Your left side of your brain is not meant to talk you out of inspiration. It's meant to label them. Don't talk yourself out of them. Honor that inner voice. That's the primary step. Then the secondary step is pay attention and get to learn what your blockages are. I travel the country with a workshop called Stop Stopping Yourself and Become Unstoppable. People block themselves from creating the life they want because they don't believe what they think they believe, which is why people don't walk their talk. Now, that's not everybody. Some people do. But the majority of people get in their own way. So you've got to recognize what's getting in your way. And what's getting in your way are your true beliefs about yourself, not your fake beliefs. I ask people at a workshop, how many people believe in themselves? And 99% of the people raise their hands. At the end of my workshop, I then ask them again, okay, how many people really believe in themselves? And there may be only one or two. Because the truth of it is, we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe we're great. We're still holding on to those, what I call the I'm nots. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not smart enough. That's what's holding us back. And us denying those feelings creates a great block. So you need to acknowledge what you really feel. Then you need to reinforce the positive. As long as you acknowledge, hey, wait a minute, I got that I'm not inside of me. I really don't believe in myself enough. I don't really believe I deserve that raise. I don't really believe I deserve to be in a good relationship because of everything that went on in my past. Holy crap, I really got to admit that. Now that I admit that, part 3, now reinforce the truth. And the truth is, we are magnificent. We are deserving. We are fabulous. There is divinity in everyone. You can't help it. It's the way we were created. But we've forgotten it. The jerk down the street who treats somebody like a dog, he really is still part of the God force. He's just forgotten it. He's been more tormented than you. And that's why he acts like a jerk. So we have to understand and admit how we believe about ourselves and then change and reinforce and start doing some affirmations and truths about ourselves. Then you start opening up your intuition. Sit, meditate, quiet your conscious mind, and listen to the inner mind. People pray a lot. They're always praying. Oh, I really need another job. Please, God, get me another job. I can't stand the one that I'm in. Oh, my God, please help me with my health. I've got cancer, and I don't want to die. Oh, please send me a lover. I'm alone, and I need somebody. But guess what? Nobody believes those prayers are going to be answered, and they don't shut up long enough to hear the answer on how to answer them. So, in a nutshell, you need to recognize that you don't believe what you think you believe, admit what you do believe about yourself, which isn't so nice, and then really reinforce the truth and sit quietly, meditate, open up, and let your inner voice come to the surface and then honor it. So do you think that's the Reader's Digest version I just gave you?
It's somewhere in there. I'm sure you have a ton more that you could spell out there.
Totally. A book.
Hey, you're the one that writes books. My favorite joke about writing books is I haven't done one. People encourage me to do one. My favorite joke is I need a ghostwriter, though.
I know. You know what? Yes. You can really get a lot of work done if you have somebody else do it for you.
I know. And I don't write that well, so. And of course, being a paranormal guy, a joke works even double better.
But you still have wonderful words and wonderful ideas. So even if somebody else uses their skill and talent to put your words together, they're still your words.
Right.
So you should try it one day. You'd be really surprised what you can come out with, especially with the humor that you have.
Well, it'll happen when I said I've got 2 young kids at home. Once they get a little bit older and I have a little more free time without somebody poking me, going, "He touched me." Well, anyways.
I understand.
I'm sure you know how that goes. Another thing that I found when I was skimming through your stuff, we share a common interest. We both host little radio shows. Or you did.
I had a radio show.
Yes,
okay. I did for the longest time, and it was wonderful, but I don't have time to do that anymore. And so now I'm on wonderful radio shows like yours.
Even better for me, right?
I would hope so.
I was going to say, if you can't beat them, join them, but I don't think that works here. No. Anyways, okay. So what made you want to do that? This is the nerdy part of me. Nobody else really cares. But what made you want to start doing this, talking around the world?
Okay. When I was enlightened and I had my spiritual awakening, even before that, what I went through when I was younger stripped away my self-belief. And I still have that scar. I still have the scar, I'm not good enough. And it was so painful to be tormented. I mean, even some of the people that called me friends, I would walk and we just finished something. They're standing outside in a group. They didn't know that I was coming, and I would overhear them laughing behind my back about me. So there was nobody that I could trust. There was nobody that I could turn to. And it was just me, and I sat there, and the only thing that kept me alive, quite honestly, because there were many times I wanted to die and just kill myself, I was talented. I did have a very young ability to act and sing, and I was in all shows ever since I was a kid. So those same kids who would torment me when I was on stage would applaud me. And that applause was what I allowed to keep as self-acceptance. But, of course, it wasn't sustaining because you're not on stage all the time. You just do a show in a couple of weeks, and then you're done and you go on with life. It was so painful that I don't want other people to feel that pain. So my mission in life, and honestly, and people, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know if I'm meant to be a savior or not, but I will continue until the day I die going around the world to do everything I can to empower people to believe in themselves, because it's your greatest gift is you. And most people in the world today have no idea of who they really are. And you can do some good things, and most people survived in their lives, but when I sit and talk with them as a psychic medium, when I get one-on-one or when I'm in a group, you can feel how they feel about themselves, and it's painful, and I want to take away that pain. Like a doctor wants to heal a human and cure an illness, I need to heal a soul and make them believe in themselves. So that's why I do what I do. Why I have that passion and I chose this route this lifetime was very interesting. I was studying with James Van Praagh, who was one of the first famous ghost whisperers. He was the one who came out of the spiritual closet talking about how he spoke to dead people. This was way before John Edwards. This was in the 70s. And James Van Praagh became very famous. He had a television show, major television show at that time. So he was one of the famous spiritual people, and he actually was the director and producer of the television show Ghost Whisperer that came out in current times. John Edwards stemmed off of him. Well, I studied with James Van Praagh, and he did a past life regression. And for the first time in my life, I've done other past life regressions and seen some of my past lives, and I don't know if this is made up or not. You know, quite honestly, I don't know if any of this is all bull crap or the truth, but it makes me feel good. I follow it, and it makes other people feel good, so I don't care. So he took me on this regression, and I experienced a lifetime in Atlantis. Supposedly it was Atlantis, where I and someone else was responsible for the destruction of Atlantis. I don't know if
Wait. Stop.
Okay.
And this makes you feel good because you destroyed Atlantis.
No, it doesn't make me feel good that I destroyed Atlantis. What makes me feel good is to understand why I had such passion, why I would have chosen this lifetime to bring people to believe in themselves and try to save the world the way I'm trying. I mean, I really want to save people. And what it is there's this, that would make so much sense to me because of feeling so bad of what I did in that past life. I'm wanting to fix that. I want to bring people back home. I want to help our brothers and sisters get back to where we're supposed to be because I helped to lead them astray and hurt them.
No, I'm sorry. I jumped your story, I guess. Makes sense to me now.
No, you're fine. Hey, it's crazy to me. I'm sharing it. This is the first time I'm sharing it publicly, by the way.
Well, thank you for doing that.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's interesting because I have such a fervor and passion. But no matter where it comes from, doesn't make a difference to me. I'm not going to stop until I can no longer talk and help people. So it will go on for as long as I am here.
That's good. So I've got another little phrase that I wrote down here, which is care for caregivers. And this, when I was reading through your site about, because you do speaking events about this for people that are in the healthcare field and deal with people that are passing away, this caught my eye, and it's especially this time of year, even more impactful than it probably would be in middle of the summer. So
no, you're absolutely right.
So what do you tell people to deal with this?
Well, here's the thing, so that people know, your listeners know, I was a hospice social worker for 6 years, so I helped to transition over 500 people during that time. I had over 500 patients. And I worked with not only the patients, but the caregivers as well. Here's the interesting thing that I learned during that entire time. My field of social work and psychotherapy and psychology has come out with certain terms of different phenomena and experiences. And one experience in the caregiving field is the concept of compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is when you are a compassionate, helping person, that there are times that can catch up with you and cause you to be drained, completely drained. What I do is I can teach people and help them to not experience that, because compassion fatigue is not a result of giving too much. You can't give too much. We're unlimited. We are a constant flow of energy and love and light and compassion. The only way we run out of that is when something's blocking it. So I'll liken that to this, but we'll use this as a metaphor. Think of us as garden hoses that are attached to a spigot outside. And the faucet is completely on, and your power, that God force, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is the water flowing full force through the hose, through you, okay? As long as that hose is uncoiled, right, and nice and smooth, that water is capable of flowing completely through you in full force to do whatever you want with it, to water the lawn, wash the car, wash the house, take a shower, whatever, take a drink, as long as it's uncoiled. But what happens when all of a sudden you put a kink in the hose? You slow down and sometimes completely stop the flow of water coming through you. Compassion fatigue and caregivers have a problem of having a kink in their hoses while they're caregiving. So therefore, all the natural energy, all their ability to give, to help, to care for, is being impeded by that kink. Now everybody asks, well, what's the kink? The kink is your issues, your lack of self-belief, your I'm not. And when it comes to caregiving parents is where you see it the most. These kids are breaking down like crazy. And when I say kids, they could be 40, 50, 60-year-old children, taking care of their parents that are 80 or 90 years old that are passing. And they have to deal with their issues while they're taking care of their parents. Or while you're taking care of anyone, you're dealing with your own personal issues. Heal your issue and recognize it's your issue that's blocking you, and you will have all the energy in the world to give and help others without running out. Now, what's interesting is most children I see, your parent is dying. There's going to be natural grief of loss. But that's not the pains that I experience with my caregivers. Most of the caregivers that I've worked with that are taking care of people on hospice, they're breaking down. And they're breaking down because they're losing a parent that subconsciously they didn't even know truly loved them. They're losing the opportunity to find out if the parent really loved them. They're losing the person who they believe is the only one who loves them, right? They're losing something about self-recognition that they lacked when they were a child growing up. So most caregiving brings up those inner issues that were never resolved inside. So my greatest piece of advice is, if you're going to be a caregiver, I'll give you the same piece of advice I give couples who are asking me how to become good parents now that they want to start families. Take care of your issues, and you will naturally be great with compassion, with love, with patience, with tolerance, and with the energy. After all the torment that my parents had put me through, my father beat me with a belt at my mother's command. I was occasionally hit with spoons, pots, pans, whatever. My brother got it even worse. He still has scars on his body with some of the things that my parents hit him with. I built a house and moved both of my parents in this house. My mother was now experiencing Alzheimer's at 86, and my father childish dementia in his 90s. And I took care of them until they passed because I was able to take care of my issues. Now, don't get me wrong, it was still stressful, but nothing was bothering or hurting me or bringing anything to the surface, because I was able to finally love myself. I didn't need my parents' acceptance and love anymore. I gave it to myself. They weren't capable of loving the right way. They had their own problems and issues. That had nothing to do with me. So as a caregiver, you need to really love yourself, honor yourself, believe in yourself, and you will have all the ability and capacity to take care of anyone else. It's how we're structured, it's how we're made, and why we were put on the same earth all together.
Right. So, hey, wow, good thing I started paying attention. Well, I was listening to you, but I looked at my clock and I realized that I have about 5 minutes left with you, and I'm like, oh, no. So, before you go, this is the most important thing that, you know, being a former host, that anybody can ask. Where can people find you?
You go to my website at www.vincentgenna, that's VINCENTGENNA.com, or to my Facebook page. So you go to Facebook and then look for Vincent Genna MSW. Become a fan there. You can interact with me. On my website, I have resource pages. I've got plenty of information. You can set appointments with me for spiritual teaching, training, for psychic readings, or you can listen to any of my audios and interviews. And if you go to my website, for your listeners, they can even download a free lecture called God and Your Ego Are One, which is very, very powerful. It's how to enhance, embrace, and love your ego rather than cast it aside like you're getting those so many messages of people telling you to do. So that's at my website, and anybody can interact with me, email me, any questions or concerns that they have. I'm there, I'm available, and I also list all my events that I'm doing around the country, too. Thanks so much for asking.
Oh, no problem. That's the point of having you on, is to get your story and get you out there, but also, once I do that, I have to deliver on the goods and get people to find you once they know a little bit more about you.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I've got one last question here. Like I said, I've got about 4 minutes left. So preferences by, I'm trying not to put you on the spot, but I guess by asking this question, I'm going to.
Put me on the spot. Come on.
Prediction for 2014.
Oh, my God, I can't believe you put me on the spot like that. Prediction for 2014.
Or in the future. Or you can go even just in the future, but you could go 2014 if you want. Okay, go.
There is a lot of transitioning going on for everyone collectively. We will be seeing things that are not working will be fizzling out. So people shouldn't worry about things that aren't working in our political system or our monetary system economically. You will see certain things end, which is good, and other things build. There's a lot of positiveness that's coming in. Now, the only unfortunate thing about positive things, it's like watching a building being demolished. An old building that's condemned and nobody's living in it or doing any business in it, and you walk down the street and it's an eyesore, right? Now, in the middle of demolishing it, people are still walking by going, oh, my God, that's terrible. They got the street roped off. You got to go a different way. It looks like hell. When are they going to fix it? Then all of a sudden, when something is completely rebuilt and new, oh, my gosh, this is so beautiful. I knew it was going to enhance our neighborhood. Right now, everybody loves it. Well, that's exactly what's happening in 2014. There's a lot of things falling apart to make room for rebuilding of something new. Major corporations that seem like they're strong and big, life and success in life is not going to be given in the hands of the corporations anymore. It's going to be given to the small businesses, and the mom and pop places, again, are opening up and becoming more successful. I have entrepreneurs who have been more successful than the CEOs of major companies that are still out of work and calling me wondering when they're going to get jobs. So I see changes in that. In personal people's lives, their past is surfacing so that they can get that crap out of the way and face it so that they can see their divinity and their greatness. And you've got to get the garbage out of the way in order to see the goodness. That's all coming up for people. So it's going to be hot, heavy, but it's all changing. And if you have a positive attitude, get on the ride, get on the roller coaster. It's going to be fabulous. You're going to go fast, full steam ahead, and you need to pursue your dreams and passions. And if you don't know you have any, meditate on them until they surface, but they're in there. And go after your dreams. That's what it's all about, 2014. Go after your dreams. I hope everybody is hearing this.
I think they did, and I want to thank you for joining me. And when the new book gets ready to come out, get it through the grapevine, and I'll get you back on.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you having me on the show, and sorry I wasn't here first thing, but thank you again. I really had a great time.
Oh, no problem. Okay, good night. And now I'm going to read this little note here. Looking for a family-friendly audio adventure, the World of Godland's fantasy series begins with The Call of Harold, now available in audiobook format. Act now. Get the ebook free and the audiobook for just $1.99. Visit bit.ly/audio199. That's bit.ly/audio199. That's bit.ly, bit.ly/audio, AUDIO, and the number's $1.99. Good deal. Trust me, the audiobook is normally more expensive than that, and you'll want to be involved. Okay. Before I run fast out of time, I kind of preferenced this, but I'm not sure if anybody heard me, so I'm going to say it again. Get ready. At the end of this little bit, I'm going to play the call-in number, and I want you, or it's been tweeted, it's in all the chat rooms. If you need it, I can get it to you, obviously. This next week, until next Monday, I'm going to be gathering memories and thoughts of the report over the last year. You can say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you want to my listeners, but give me something that, you enjoyed, a favorite guest, a favorite moment. I'm going to be putting some of my best of together, some of my favorite clips of guests. It's going to be a mold, and it's going to be really fast and fluid, but I'm looking forward to editing this together for you on Christmas Eve. A good family show, hopefully. I can get it together for that. I'm looking forward to it. But I really enjoyed Vincent Genna tonight. I hope you all take the time to go visit his website. Sorry for the technical issues at the beginning of the show, but as they say, when it's live, it's loud, or it's not on. So, yeah, take a minute and reflect. I know I've had Jim D. Felice and Bill O'Brice, big time, not really big time names, but New York Times bestseller, daytime Emmy Award winners, paranormal investigators, authors, musicians, shows that I've done by myself. It's well-rounded. It's very diverse. If you haven't heard it for a long time, go over to italkparanormal.com and tune in, check it out. There's a stream. There's old podcasts. There's all sorts of things. It's all free. I give it all away. The newsletter, all this stuff. It's all free. The downloads go back almost a year due to server space. I don't have the money to increase my server space yet. It's coming, I hope. We're knocking on wood. We're seeing it coming. Okay. So that's that. Take a minute.